All right, looking at multiplying fractions. So unlike adding and subtracting fractions, when you multiply fractions, you just have to multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. And that will give you your new fraction. And then once you get that, you might have to simplify or write as a mixed number. So let's look at this first one. 3/8 times 3/4. So you're going to multiply your top numbers or your numerators together. So 3 times 3 over 8 times 4. All right, so 3 times 3 is going to give us 9. 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, so now we can check and see if there is any simplified version of 9/32. However, the greatest common factor between 9 and 32, that is just going to be 1. So that means this cannot be simplified any further. 9 and 32, or 9/32 would be the simplest this fraction can go. Okay, so looking at the next one. Okay, you have 5/6 times a negative 5/9. So once again, remember what happens when we multiply a positive times a negative. Our end result is going to be a negative. And so we will do the same thing with the problem above. You're going to take our top numbers, 5 times a negative 5, multiply them together, and then our denominator, 6 times 9. So 5 times negative 5 is going to give us a negative 25. And then 6 times 9 is going to give us a 30. Nope, not a 36, 54. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 9 is 54. Okay, and so now, once again, the greatest common factor of 25 and 54 is going to be 1. So negative 25/54 is the simplest this fraction can go. And once again, there's an odd number of negatives, so your answer is going to be negative. Odd number being 1. Okay, and then this next one, so multiplying a negative 3/4 times a negative 8/9. So now we have an even number of negatives, so that would be 2. So our answer should come out as positive. Okay, and once again, you multiply the numerators together to get your new numerator, and then you multiply the denominators together. So negative 3 times a negative 8 is going to give us a positive 24. And then 4 times 9 is going to give us 36. Okay, so now we're going to look for the greatest common factor of 24 and 36. And you'll notice that that is 12. 12 times 2 gives us 24, and 12 times 3 gives us 36. So now we take 24, divide by 12, and we take our 36 and divide by 12. And that's going to equal 2/3. Now, once again, if you divide both of them by 12, by the fraction 12 over 12, or divide them both by 12, once again, that is like dividing by 1. So you're not changing the value, you're just changing the appearance. So if you multiply 2 by 12, you get 24. If you multiply 3 by 12, you get 36. And so 2/3 is that fraction simplified in lowest terms, or in simplest form. Okay, now last one. This is more just showing steps for cross-simplifying. So when you're cross-simplifying, you're looking at the opposite numerator over the opposite denominator. So in this case, 4 and 8. And if you go, what is the greatest common factor 8 and 4 share? Well, that is going to be 4. So you can divide both these terms by 4. And that's going to change that 4 into 1 and that 8 into 2. Okay, and likewise, looking at the other ones, so 3 and 9. What is the greatest common factor 3 and 9 share? That's going to be 3, so we can divide both these by 3. And that will give us a 1 over 2 times a 1 over 3. And then so that equals 1 over 6. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so now just to go back and check this, we can go 3 times 4, which equals 12. And then 8 times 9, which equals 72. Okay, and now we know that 72 is a factor of 12, so you can divide both by 12, which is going to give us 1 and 6. So 72 divided by 12 equals 6. 12 divided by 12 is 1. And so we see that these check out. Also, you notice that our greatest common factor of 12 and 72 is 12, which if you take 3 times 4, you also get 12. So this is just another way, instead of multiplying larger numbers, if you can see this cross simplification, it can save you this last step. You're doing the same thing, you're just doing it beforehand when you notice numbers that share a common factor in the fractions before you multiply them. All right, and that's multiplying fractions.